He's the acting DG, NATCOM, and that's what they're really doing. And I'm so glad to have Otumba Dr. Nigegria right in the house this morning. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
All right, illegal arms. What's the definition? Is it, people, I know the members of the military force have their rights to hold guns and all of that. Some individuals also possess, they get rights to. So what's the definition of illegal arms? How do you define illegal arms?
Okay, first and foremost, I think I should tell you what NATCOM is about.
Okay.
NATCOM was put into bill by the 9th Assembly on the 26th of July last year. But it all started from Ayman days. General Obasanjo now decided to have a task force, which was now called National Task Force, against light weapons, ammunitions, and chemical weapons, which was to checkmate Ayman. Yeah? And it was strictly volunteer organization underneath the presidency. But in 2006, we now decided to do ECOWAS. We signed into the ECOWAS treaty. So we had to change to a commission so that we are all alike, and we had to go to the National Assembly. Now, our major focus, we are 274,000 personnel as we speak. We're in every single state. So our focus really is to checkmate who is bringing in these ammunitions, who is bringing in these light weapons, who is bringing in chemical weapons, and also who is bringing IEDs. That's what they used to make bombs. And what we've seen in Nigeria, and I'm sure you've seen it, that nobody actually has been brought to law with all this smuggling, which is, you have to now look at it, is the way they come in is through sea and land borders. And since I took over, I have a different approach, which basically should be more, we should go back to the days of the traditional rulers being custodians, because they are custodians of the people and they know the people, and to put an awareness into this. Well, many people, you'll be surprised, not that names will be called, are the people that bring in these things are well-known Nigerians, and yet they do nothing about it. In my own regime, any single thing that, since I'm acting, will be sent to our president, who is like a father to me, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu Ahmed. And it couldn't have come at a better time that I came on board, because obviously because of the subsidy issue, lack of employment and everything. So we have embarked on the president's mandate, which is to employ 7,000 people per each state. And if you look at it now, something comes in through the border or comes through by sea, it is very easy. When it enters, custom does their own checks and release. But most of the time you see that maybe 10 container comes and they'll seize 5 and 5 disappears. In doing that, we have machines in place, equipment in place, which can tell you 2 kilometers far of whatever is the car or the trailer, whatever they're carrying. Then also, we've now deployed it that we're going to go into the parks, motor parks. Any luggage that is being put into any vehicle will be scanned. Because once they come out of the container, how do they now move it around Nigeria is through local transport. And we want to checkmate that they do. And on my own mantle as the acting DG, the most important thing is that we can't eradicate it thoroughly, but to try and bring it down minimum. And we're sharing information from ECOWAS that we are part of. Then also, you now have the fact that the information being passed to us, we look at it. How can customs seize arms and ammunition and you burn them? Nobody really has gone to say, oh, every single bullet, every single gun has a barcode. And when you're looking at the barcode, it's very easy for you that you can log on and find out who the manufacturer is. In doing who the manufacturer is, then you engage the manufacturers and said, who bought this so consignment? So you now have the full, okay, who bought it, who shipped it, who cleared it. So we're doing our own due diligence. But it's surprisingly, custom is not doing that. It's not really meant to be our work. Our work is to stop. Okay. But if the custom has to now come out and make sure that we work in tandem, any leakages they have, we have to seal it. And by employing 7,000 people because of this subsidy to train them, you get what I'm saying? I think it's a laudable something for the president, our president at Grab of the day. He has inherited a lot of things that is mind-boggling, that is just being revealed to most Nigerians. That we should all, be patient, because things he's trying to do is to make sure for a better Nigeria. A better Nigeria doesn't start from today. It's a process thing, And I feel for him that, not because he's like a father to me, because I believe in his ideology and what he stands for. This is a man that fought the military hands down, who my late grandfather also got shot, Alfredo Wane, the financier of Nadeco. But I think we need to take these things seriously. So we are going right from the fisherman to the local government, all the way to federal government.
Okay. Now, the question, that comes on now is, first of all, how is the synergy with all the other agencies? That's number one. And then number two, whoever is going to transport these firearms or these illegal arms is not likely going to go through the conventional route.
Yes.
You understand? So what are the efforts in that regard?
You see, it is a operational question you're asking here. We know the routes they all take. Okay. It's the same route that take to smuggle cars. Okay. Custom too knows the route. Okay. You get me? It's not as if nobody knows the... Okay. But we have our own intake of how we are going to checkmate that. Okay. And it's not something that I would discuss on air, because obviously everybody is watching and they say, I look at it. So basically, we have checkmate that. All we are now just waiting is for our good president to put an assent to the law, and we're also generating revenue for the government. So it's a win-win situation, and employment, training people. We want to be known in my own regime that so acting DG or interim DG has put acting DG, not interim, has put the structure in place that at least 50% we should be able to cover it, to bring it downward.
There was a survey in 2021 adducing to the fact that over 6 million small arms and illegal firearms are at the hands of non-state actors in Nigeria, whereas the military and the armed personnel put together had only 586,000 firearms that they can be proud of. The question I want to ask, have you been able to estimate, as it were, when you take over, the level of firearms in the society? Is it at the epidemic level?
Yes, it is. Sadly, it is.
And when you mop up, when you retrieve from some people, what do you do with it?
You see,
so as to prevent
it going back to the market. You see, that is a valid question. We are working, we are planning how we are going to work with the armed forces, police, custom, because it's based on intelligence. So DSS will come also. Yeah. If you are in synergy, all well and good. If you are not in synergy, the kind of person I am, I'll still go for it.
Who prosecutes?
Yes.
Who prosecutes?
Police. But because our act has not been assented to,
Okay.
The moment the president assents to it, we can now prosecute and do other things. But right now, we call police.
Okay.
So we do joint patrol.
There you get it. Now, let me also, your work is a very sensitive one.
Yes.
And I don't envy you at all. But have you ever thought of fifth columnists? Have you ever thought of infiltrators? Have you ever thought of people even within your structure?
The bad eggs.
Who want to sabotage whatever good intentions that you have? Is there a way you screen out?
Yes, we have well, since taking over, there's a lot of work to be done.
Okay.
You know, no matter if it's a company, you know the good, the bad, the ugly. So I don't believe on hearsay.
Okay.
I believe on facts.
Okay.
And I've put my own thinking cap, saying how we're going to remove people that are the bad eggs, because you have to look at the people that are in operations and the borders and all those things, because they don't know that I'm their big brother watching them. Okay. So as I'm watching them, they'll be shocked of information that I have in hand.
Okay.
You know? So even if you take 10 goes into border patrol at Nigegria, you are sure that I have like 5 that are my mole. Okay. Because that's what tends to happen. And this thing has to stop. And that's why our president has to do something drastic about custom. Okay. Because custom are the biggest problem we have in smuggling in Nigeria.
We have to be very careful here so that we don't, because the Nigerian customs are doing their own work.
They're not doing their own work. I'm sorry to say. I'm somebody that let us face facts. Okay. Don't let us hide that they are doing their own work. Okay. The problem that we have, and you have to remember that custom is our revenue generating in Nigeria here. It could be 1,000 times better. It's not only guns and ammunition.
Yes, what you could say is there is room for improvement.
See,
but more than people,
there's some people, structure. But they don't put those people where they are meant to be.
Okay. But beyond that, beyond
I want to ask a question.
Okay.
Please. We talk about police force. They say police does not have this and police does not have that. Police is communication and everything, as we speak in Nigeria, is one of the best. Okay. You go and steal a policeman's car, you will see that in less than 10 minutes they will retrieve the car back. Okay. So when custom comes, and we're not looking at this thing, we're looking at this thing because, you know, it borders on around kidnapping, banditry, terrorists. Okay. Where are they getting it from? It is easy to cancel.
Beyond mopping up, are you not looking at international collaboration with countries that produce this firearm that we were talking about? If there is a kind of a balance in what they import to neighboring countries where these non-state actors or terrorism thrive, so that it won't get easy access into our porous borders.
Well, that is very, very true, but you have to remember that all these manufacturers, they're out to make money. They're not interested on how or where it is going to.
Yeah, but you can prevent, somebody said you cannot prevent a bird from flying.
Yes.
But you can prevent it from flying over your head.
Oh yes, oh yes. And that is why the ECOWAS treaty comes into place.
Okay. There's an arms treaty by ECOWAS.
Yes. So it is joint shared information. And as far as I'm concerned, if this should arise out of control that is beyond my own control, I will kindly advise our president, who always has a listening ear, that there are some actions we need to take. And a lot of that is already in. We are working day and night about it. And I don't know who is watching today, because my job is sensitive, and the people that are bringing it now are saying that, okay, this acting director is coming near us, these are the things, let us check meeting. Because in Nigeria is intelligence. People talk. You get what I'm saying? But I would like you people to know that it is actually more than what you think. The Nigerians that are involved in this thing is alarming. These are people we look up to. These are people that have sensitive position, because naturally in Nigeria we do not even have a data bank of how many guns, ammunitions that we have in the country. It should be unified that throughout we have a data bank. And if you don't have that data bank, how do you not checkmate it? Then secondly, when you catch the thing, we investigate who brings it in, then the government should give it to the rightful owners. You have the custom, you have the police, you have the DSS, you have the Ministry of Defense, the Army, Navy, Air Force. You can put it. And that also pushes a lot of pressure down on our president. Because our own long term is that if we start producing our own guns and ammunition, then you can now bring it down to zero.
We have DICON in Kaduna.
DICON isn't working for how many years? When last did they produce one bullet?
Now, away from that, some also feel that individuals, should be allowed to carry firearms. Do you subscribe to that? That, given the weight of the spate of kidnapping, banditry, and what have you, terrorism, that just like it is in some other countries, people should be allowed to carry their own firearms for safety. Is it going to be a proliferation? Is it going to be bastardized? Can it ever work here?
Well, first and foremost, you have to be very careful of how you throw arms into the market by saying people should carry arms. You don't know their psychological state. You do not know the kind of business they're into until when our president's policy comes into place. Then there should be an agency, which I presume it will be police or the National Security Advisor, to say, okay, you get a license. Like right now, most people get a license, but you're only allowed to carry the double barrel hunting guns. So for you to go that, you must go through training, go through the SACI examinations, that everybody is well balanced. Otherwise, what you now get to it is that if you are suffering and you have a gun, you know what is going to happen. So with the president, the way he's going, when everything calms down, Nigeria is seeing it forward that, what's it called, then you can now say they can carry a gun through the right examination. And once they examine, fine, there's no problem. Because what is happening right now, that why most people want guns in their home, is because they believe that the security situation has totally collapsed, which is true. But the new set of the Chief of Army Staff, Defense, Navy, Air Force, Police are people that I've read up on, some I know, and I believe they do actually want to do a lot of things for our country.
Okay. I can only hope for the better, at least through your agency.
Yeah.
Because when you allege that before now, those who import these illegal firearms into the country are the people that the law haven't been able to catch up with. And we have the police, we have the DSS, and we have various other agencies. What gives you the impression that your own agency will be able to touch them?
Well, if you go by my antecedents and you go by my parenthood, my grandfather was killed by Abacha's regime when they were fighting for Nadeko. That is my mother's father. My father's father is DS Adigbenro, Premier of the Western region. My father, Ni Adigbenro, I guess you all know him. We're not afraid people. And secondly, I'm an Owu man. And Owu people, you know what we are.
No, you are the one saying it.
Yes, sir. Owu people, we know what we are. We will go. I'm ready to fight head to toe. I'm ready to fight. No. If you are talking, I'm the head of the agency. So, as the head of the agency, it is me that takes decisions. And as I'm taking these decisions, I must make sure and I don't mind. I must make sure that I do. There's no way I cannot but help our president to make sure to actualize in this security situation.
Okay.
I'm ready. Anybody, like, if you look at it, there was a time that when Buhari first of all came, he said all the people that are corrupt, he's going to list the whole thing. No list ever came out. Now, ammunitions and everything, nobody has ever been prosecuted. With my regime, what I see is a memo directly to the president through the chief of staff. Now, it's now up to the president to tell us what he wants to do about it. That is what I would do.
Okay, I hope your hands will not be tied. You know, there was the joke that was...
Well, you know, they say hands being tied, but I don't think my hands can be tied.
Okay.
It's impossible.
All right. Is it acting now?
He's acting,
Acting DG.
DG, and we're waiting for the president to hopefully, I pray that I'm the substantive DG, but everything is in the hands of the president.
No problems. We wish you well.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm sure Nigerians should be hopeful
yes.
With the things that you have said, and we can